Do you think the star of the semiconductor world is the chip itself? Silicon? Well, today's Qualcomm news looks very different to me. I see it as the starting gun announcing that the battleground has shifted from chips to software lock-in. But I'll be honest, I only believe about 30% of this acquisition. The other 70%, I'm skeptical. Why? Stay with me to the end.
Hello everyone, I'm Ty, with 31 years inside the semiconductor industry. Today we're covering Qualcomm's move to acquire Modular, an AI software company, for approximately $4 billion. Why would a hardware company pay that kind of premium for software? I'll walk you through the strategy and the contradiction I'm 70% skeptical about. By the end, you'll see where the real battleground in AI semiconductors lies.
Let me use an analogy. Think of the AI world as the restaurant industry. For years, every company has been competing on the stove, high-performance cooking equipment. Whoever builds the hottest stove wins. Semiconductor makers have long competed on this, building the most powerful stove possible. Qualcomm is a master at it, crafting efficient, high-performance stoves for the small kitchen of the smartphone. But the company making the most money in this industry has a different kind of edge. Yes, they build great stoves, but their real weapon is the secret recipe book and the cooking manual. Chefs get so used to these recipes that they can never leave this kitchen. Even if someone copies the stove, the recipe keeps customers loyal. That's the true power of today's AI semiconductor king.
Here's Qualcomm's problem. They can build the stove, but they don't have that secret recipe book. There's no mechanism to keep customers, developers, locked into their kitchen. Even with a great stove, if customers are already locked in by someone else's recipes, they simply won't look your way. This is the weakness shared by every company that only sells hardware. Enter today's main character, Modular. What they have is a universal recipe language, one that works on any company's stove, plus an automated kitchen management system. And the person who built it is a legendary chef, someone who once designed the entire kitchen system for another giant chain, a true legend in this field. Here's the key point. The biggest selling point of this universal recipe is that it's not tied to any particular stove. It runs in any kitchen, and that's what gives it value. But wait, the company buying it, Qualcomm, is a company that wants to sell its own stoves. Keep that contradiction in the back of your mind. It becomes important in the second half. Back to reality. What Qualcomm is acquiring is Modular, an AI software company founded in 2022 with around 150 employees. The deal is valued at approximately $4 billion. The stated goal? Strengthen the computing infrastructure for running AI, from data centers all the way to edge AI running directly on local devices. A little more on Modular. They have Mojo, a programming language designed specifically for AI, and Max, an inference platform. Together, these form a software layer that runs AI efficiently across different chip types, CPUs, GPUs, and NPUs. Co-founder Chris Lattner is the person who created Swift at Apple. In the software world, he's a genuine legend. The price tag deserves a closer look. Just 9 months ago, Modular's valuation in its last funding round was around $1.6 billion. Now it's $4 billion, a 2.5x jump in 9 months. The market has been asking whether this is too high a price, yet Qualcomm pushed ahead anyway. That tells you how serious they are about this.
And this isn't a one-off deal. Qualcomm has been on a buying spree recently, including reported interest in TensorTorrent and several other companies. The numbers tell the story. A target of over $15 billion in data center revenue by fiscal 2029 and $40 billion from businesses outside smartphones. These are very ambitious goals.
Now to the real point. Most headlines frame this as Qualcomm challenging the king's recipe book in AI chips. But what I actually focus on is something different. A hardware company paid 2.5 times the last valuation for a software company. That fact alone tells me the semiconductor competition has shifted from chips to software-driven lock-in. This is the clearest evidence yet. The king's real strength isn't the stove, the chip itself. It's the thick moat built from the secret recipe book, software. Chip performance can be caught up to over time, but developer familiarity with a software ecosystem is incredibly hard to disrupt. What Qualcomm really wants isn't a better chip, it's that moat.
So why modular at this price? Here's my read. First, time. A software moat takes years to build organically. Buying modular means buying that time. Second, people. Software talent at this level, co-founders who created landmark technologies, is being fought over globally. You can scale up chip manufacturing. You cannot scale up talent like this. That's why they paid the premium.
Here's where the twist kicks in. Modular's value comes from neutrality. It works on any chip, and Qualcomm knows this. They've already declared they'll keep it open and neutral, preserving developer choice. Their logic: by staying open and driving broad adoption, they ultimately grow their own chip's reach. On the surface, it's a reasonable argument.
But that's exactly why I'm 70% skeptical. Can a company that wants to sell its own chips truly stay neutral forever? If they abandon neutrality to lock things in, they lose the developers who came for cross-platform support. But if they maintain it, they end up strengthening their rivals' chips too. They can't fully commit either way. And Qualcomm has history here. They tried the data center market before and retreated.
The king's moat was built over more than a decade. Buying one software company won't fill a gap that deep. And in the AI software stack, the king, along with rival chip makers and major AI companies, are all fortifying their own territory. Into all of that, Qualcomm is trying to chase three things at once: great chips, a software moat, and neutrality. That's a very ambitious trifecta.
What does this mean for Japan? Honestly, Japan doesn't have strong cards in this kind of software moat competition. That's a genuine weakness. But flip the perspective. If neutral, cross-chip software like Modular's becomes widespread, it erodes the king's monopoly. For Japan's edge AI players and specialized chip developers, that creates more room to compete. I take that as a positive sign.
The one thing I want you to walk away with: the semiconductor battlefield is no longer just about silicon. It has shifted to which software platform can lock in developers. Qualcomm's $4 billion bet makes that tectonic shift visible in dollar terms. That's what this deal is really about.
To summarize, Qualcomm's acquisition of Modular is more than an AI chip upgrade story. The real goal is to buy a software moat and buy the time it would take to build one. But the fundamental contradiction remains. Can a hardware company use neutral software as a lock-in tool? My verdict: 30% belief, 70% skepticism. The direction is right. Whether they can execute, that's the open question. I'll be watching closely.
That's all for today. I'll keep bringing you semiconductor news and analysis. So if you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Ty on Semiconductor News Decoded.